Hi, I'm Jose Anunciato, and you're watching the WebDev channel.
All right, so we have some of the basic skills that we need to start implementing actually something interesting, right? So as an example, we're going to use routing and all these components and dynamic content generation, Bootstrap, and all these to build a course manager React client, all right? So to start off, this assumes that you already installed and you have an environment. You have the appropriate CLIs. So first we'll create a tier, a Spring tier, to hold all the data for a course, a list of courses, be able to post and generate new courses, read all the courses, delete courses, do all CRUD operation on courses. Right, so presumably you already have a working Spring Boot. Since we already did that in the previous week, we don't have to do this again. Right? We're going to use exactly the same server that we were using for last week, so you don't have to do this part. Add to a database and whatnot, so this walks you through the whole thing from scratch. All right, and we have GPA, and we're connected to a database and everything. All right, excellent. So the first couple of things is that we're going to need a data model to hold a course. Yes? We'd already worked with data models last week. We worked on users, yes? Here we're going to add a new data model, the course. It's going to have an ID, right? It's going to be an entity. It's going to be a generated value. And it's going to have a couple other fields, 2 dates. It's going to have a title. It's going to have a created date and a modified date. And we commit. Right, make sure that you commit every time you build something interesting. Commit, even if you're not completely done, but it's somewhat useful. So here we have a course repository, right? Trivial, right? Based on the course and the primary key. That's easy. I think it's just 1 point on your assignment. And then REST controllers to be able to start creating these things, right? So here we have a get mapping, right? That allows you to retrieve a list of all the courses, right? And so here's find all courses. It's using the repository to retrieve all the courses. That's easy, right? It's no different than retrieving all the users. So that's not a commit. When we do a list, when we do an API course, we see that we don't have any courses. But we notice that indeed it does create a course table on MySQL. It's empty. There's nothing in it. But we could insert a couple of courses, right, with some titles. So we could insert here a course CS 5610 and 5200. We're inserting into the table that JPA created for us. Yes? So now we do have tables. We have a couple of courses. If we hit that endpoint again, it's actually going to return an array of those 2 objects. Yes? Because we inserted them manually, right? Excellent. So we have at least the beginnings of a list of courses. Excellent. All right, but now we want to do it from React. We want to go and fetch it from React and render that from React. So let's do that. So let's create a new app. And here I called it Course Manager Client React. Since we're going to have another client implementation using Angular later, I want to be able to distinguish them. This is a React client. Later on, we're going to implement an Angular client. Yes? All right, we started. It's empty. There's nothing in it. We're going to blow away the content. We're going to create our first top-level index file, right? That's going to just render an H1 course manager, right? So our top-level course manager rendering. Yes? We're going to create a component, specific component, call in the containers. Is going to contain all the other modules, all the other components. So it's going to be container. On course manager, there it is. So we moved the course manager H1, we moved it in here. Right, now we can import it and just render it from the index file. Yes? There it is. So we removed a course manager and we can now replace it with our course manager component. Right, okay? Right, nothing new here. Let's keep going. We can deploy to Heroku and verify that it's there. Excellent. So let's now be able to manage a list of courses. And we'll do that next. All right.
I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like the video, and share it. Thanks.